Good afternoon, Maverick fans. Welcome to the Southside Mavericks Coaches Show. I am Don Tate and joined, as always, with head coach Jeff Williams. Coach, how are you?
Doing great.
Coach, we had the number 2 team coming to the state coming to town this week. Bryant comes in at 5-1. Got there early myself. Saw them warm up, and they were, as you said, they were big off the bus.
Yeah, they're a good-looking bunch. I mean, they're a big physical team. Coach James has taken over that program the last 3 years and really taking it to another level. And they're about as physical football team as we'll play all year. And going into it, felt like we had some things that we had to we're going to have some help a little bit. Maybe get some turnovers and score the ball. And we got those things, which we'll talk about. We didn't take advantage of their mistakes, but I thought our kids played extremely hard. Had some mental errors and some critical situations that hurt us. But overall, Bryant's got a good football team, and it's just another game in our conference. I mean, it's just how tough it is. But our kids are battle tested now, obviously, and we got 3 games down the stretch, and look forward. We got Catholic coming up this next week, and so we got to be focused in on those guys.
Well, we lose the toss, and they defer kickoff to us. Have a nice return to the 37-yard line, Coach. We get a little bit of a quick start. We start out with a 7-yard pass to Tyrese, and then we come back to him again for 6 yards. We run the jet sweep. We run 3 separate plays, or straight plays rather. The jet sweep to Tyrese for 9 yards and get to the 41-yard line. We have a rush for 2 yards and then 46-yard TD run up the middle by Ricardo, hardly touched.
Yeah, great job. Our Coach Stewart schemed it up a little bit outside zone. Ricardo's really gotten really comfortable with that play and reading it and cut it back. And we wanted to get them going sideways. That's what you do with big teams. Get them running sideways. With Tyrese throwing hitch screens out there, and of course Ricardo about opened the kickoff. He about broke that, but then set it up. Great job our offensive line. Our fullback Nathan came back underneath, got the linebacker, and ran it just like you draw it up on the board. And once he gets in the secondary, he's gone.
Coach, we good return of 37, 7 plays, 63 yards. You're up 7-0 pretty quick. Kind of the start I'm sure that you wanted to get.
Well, that's what we always talk about. We want to start fast and finish strong. And we came out. I don't know. We had a former player, Quincy Whitfield, came in and kind of gave a motivational speech before the game, and they really got our guys jacked up and they were ready to play.
Coach, we kick off to those guys. Another touchback, something we've done a really good job of lately. Start at their own 20-yard lines. They have a 6-yard rush, an incomplete pass, almost intercepted by D.D. Smith. We could have been in outstanding shape for that. They basically go 3 and out, Coach. Punt, fair caught by us, Colton McBride, at the Southside 45-yard line. 7 plays, touchdown, 3 and out for Bryant.
I mean, it's about the perfect start you can have, and we're sitting there midfield and got great field position, which we did all night long, and defense came out and really played well.
We're at our own 45, Coach. First play of the game, they send in a blitz, get us for a 5-yard sack. Ricardo, tough running once again, rushes for 8. 3rd and 7 from our own 48-yard line. Had a drop pass in the flat that may have given us the first down.
Yeah, I thought we had it and had it set up pretty well. And that's the thing about it. I mean, those guys are going to put you in some bad plays just on what they do. And here we are. We scored. We got to stop, and we got to continue to go. And just a little mixed. It feels like we're just that far away. Just mixed execution, and we got to do a better job on 3rd down.
Punting game was very good again this week. We're punting from our own 48-yard line. This fair caught at the 10-yard line. He didn't have a chance to do anything.
Yeah, but Adam did an outstanding job. I think Coach West said he averaged like 46 yards a punt and punted it really high. Snap was good by Justin Waldrop. And that's one thing, an area we've talked about. We've been giving up points a little bit in special teams through this game. That's probably the best our special teams overall played all year.
We've got them pinned at the 10-yard line, Coach. They rushed for 5 yards with that big number 23 that we will talk about throughout the day, this Latavian Scott. This kid was big, he was fast, he was physical, but he got 5 yards on that first rush. They had a pitch sweep for 11 yards, and at 1st and 10 at the Bryant 26, pass tipped and intercepted by Landon Chafee.
Yeah, great job. I mean, here we are. We're back down here. We got a turnover, starting fast, and that, like I said, you couldn't written a better script. Now we got to go finish the drives, and I mean, you've talked off areas. We've had 12 turnovers this year, and we have not scored. When we get a turnover, we have not scored I probably need to quit bringing it up and jinxing this, but you know, when we get these turnovers, we got to score points, and we have not been very consistent in that all year.
We're at their 33-yard line, Coach. We rushed for one on the first play. On a play that I thought was pretty telling for us in the next play, incomplete pass on the wheel route to Ricardo out on the left side. They did a really good job of covering that. Last week they did a pretty decent. I think that's something people are starting to catch up with us a little bit.
Well,
about.
they got to account for him. I mean, that's bottom line, but that also helps. You know, they can't blitz guys when they got to be covering them, and you know, you can't if they're playing Jesus coverage. What I mean by they're blitzing and nobody's got him, then you hope that something happens. But they, you know, Ricardo's made a lot of noise through a passing game and you know, obviously a run game. But you know, they know that's a guy they got to stop.
So we are our 3rd and 9, Coach. Tay goes 9 yards on the keeper. Tay goes 1 yard for a first down to the 23-yard line. Ricardo lines up and goes up the middle again for 4 yards. We have a pass to Tyrese across the middle that was dropped, but the ball and the DB got there at the same time. It was a bang-bang play.
Yeah, it was. And I thought their kid made a really good play on it. It was a good throw, you know, just one of those plays, and made a big play.
From there, we have a 13-yard pass on the very next play to Tyrese to the 5-yard line. We've got 1st and goal, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting right there, and you know, Tyrese comes in. Obviously, we're getting him the ball a lot. You can see mixing and matching, really moved him around a lot this past week, and you know, we're sitting pretty. We got to get this thing in the end zone.
Rush for one, and on the next play, defensive back makes an incredible play on the ball and intercepts it.
Yeah, we didn't do a very good job of reading that. Came out, and the route just wasn't great either. But you know, we got to protect the football when we're down, you know, on the goal line. We ends up, so we throw an interception, so we don't get anything out of it. We get 0 points, where at least we could have got 10, or it could be up 14-0. And you know, we've got to do a better job when we get turnovers to go score.
Well, they take over on the 20, comes back out the 20, they take over. They rush for a couple, they pass for 4, pass for 7. They have a big 20-yard run down the right sideline called back, and it becomes 3rd and 8 from the Bryant 35-yard line. Another holding call moved the ball back to their 25-yard line. We've got them in good shape. Another penalty at 3rd and 23 from their own 20-yard line. The wide receiver gets behind the defense. Ball's good. He overthrows it a little bit. He tips it back to us. And Mason Gregory intercepts the ball.
What a great start. I mean, especially defensively, come out, there have been 3 series, got 2 turnovers. Mason about returns it all the way for a touchdown. And you know, we've had a speed package. You know, it's 3rd down, playing a lot of coverage. We got to do a better job not only get people behind us, but Mason was in great position, great interception. We got all the momentum. We just got to finish what we need to get started.
Mason gets us to the 35, Coach. We start off, we take over rather at the 35. Incomplete pass. Have a sack for -2 yards, and it's in the first quarter after we rush for 3 by Tay. First play of the second quarter, 4th and 9, Bryant 34-yard line. We tip one, and they intercept it back at their 28-yard line.
Yeah, and you know, those things are just difficult, but you know, we got an opportunity, and we got to take advantage of it.
Bryant takes over, Coach. They're at the 28-yard line. They start turning the Latavian Scott kid loose on us. He goes for 8, 12, 9, 2nd and 1 from the Southside 42-yard line. It's a 13-yard pass to the 30-yard line, our 30-yard line. They're moving the ball pretty well, and all of a sudden they have a low snap, Coach. Gets recovered by Bryant. They lost 16 yards, moves it back to their 46-yard line.
Yeah, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot, and you know, when you play good teams and when those things happen, you got to take advantage of it. But you know, defensively right now at this point in the game, we're flying around. You know, there's a big back, and I thought we had a good scheme with it, and you know, our guys are playing extremely hard.
2nd 27. They have a keeper for 10 yards, pass for 14 yards. We get them to 4th down. It's 4th and 3 from our 22-yard line, Coach. They pitch the ball wide. We have a tackle that we miss in the backfield, and they get it down to the 11-yard line.
Yeah, that's the frustrating part. You know, you got our guys, got them in the right position. We just got to make a play. And you know, like I told you before, you know, that kid's he's a hard guy to tackle. I mean, he's very strong, he's low to the ground, and you know, you've got to be able to wrap up and get him on the ground somehow.
Well, it's 1st and 10, Coach, from our 11-yard line. They go back to pass. They've got a little crossing route they're trying to run. Martez Gaston comes in from the right side untouched, jumps, makes him change his arm motion. Pass bounces off of Bennett Windell, and then it bounces off of Parker Wehunt and goes to the intended receiver, who was behind both of them, for a touchdown. Have you seen that many tip balls that go the other way?
You know, you're sitting there early going, you know, we got all the momentum, everything's rolling our way, and then Bennett tips it, and Landon turns around, it hits it back his hand into their arms. We're in the right position, just making a play. And so, you know, we got all the momentum, the ball's bouncing our way, then all of a sudden, it's funny about football, and all of a sudden it started to bounce their way.
Well, they make the extra point, Coach, and it's 7-7. We're in the early part of the second quarter. They're going to kick off to us. We return the ball to the 26. We get a first down to the 38-yard line. We have a pass interference, a big pass interference by Bryant, Coach, that gets the ball to the 47-yard lines. We rush for a couple. We have a nice swing pass to Ricardo, got him on the outside for 7 yards. We have an illegal motion penalty right after that gets us to 3rd and 10. And then we have a big 16-yard pass to Tyrese that gets the ball down the 30-yard line.
Yeah, it came out. We couldn't get those penalties, and you know, we got it set up right there, and you know, moving the ball, Ricardo. You know, you can see we're making them run side to side and trying to sneak some things up the middle, but we're executing. We remember 7-7. Let's go down here and finish the drive, and we're getting, you know, an opportunity to get a score. Let's get a score.
Got the ball at 30. Ricardo goes for 4. Ricardo goes for 3. Down to the 23-yard line. We're 3rd and 3. We attempt a backdoor screen to Eric Schwartz. It was just incomplete.
Yeah, came back, and that's a little bit of our fault. Come out of a timeout, and we got Ricardo got lined up on the wrong side, and you know, Tate drops back to pass it, and there's nobody really there to catch it. And of course, that's our coach's fault. We should have double checked everything when, you know, you leave timeouts. Check the formation, make sure everybody's lined up. But, you know, it was a great call because they were blitzing right into it. And those little plays like that, you know, that people don't see it in the bleachers or don't understand it, is those things come back and haunt you. I mean, it's set up perfectly. We're probably walking the end zone, and then we don't execute just because we're not lined up correctly.
Well, it's 4th and 3, Coach. We throw to Ricardo in the flat, and that comes up short. We turn it over on downs. The good news is we ran 11 plays, about 60 yards, took some time off the clock, but we did turn it over on downs.
Yeah, we got to finish the drives. I mean, bottom line is 4th down. We actually came back and ran the same play that we ran before, and we didn't execute that either. We got receiver had one guy to block, and there's nobody else out there, and we didn't execute the play. And the bottom line is, if you don't execute against good teams, you're going to be in trouble.
And I think that's about to prove itself, Coach. They take over at the 23-yard line on downs. They rush for Latavian, number 23, rushes for 22 yards. They rush again for 6. 2nd and 4, it's a 49-yard touchdown pass over the middle. It looks like the safety got there a little late.
Got there late, and the kid made a great throw, and they were kind of dinking and dunking and pulling some of our linebackers, and we didn't get underneath it, and we were there late.
Missed the PAT. Ends up being 13-7. You're middle of the second quarter. Still got to feel pretty decent about it. Kickoff return by Jay Washington, who got in the game. Got it out the 33-yard line. It's good to see Jay back out today. We throw what looked like a backwards pass to Ricardo, and I was watching the film from the end zone. There was somebody. Was that a halfback pass we were trying to throw there, Coach?
Well, we've had something set up similar to that, but they made a good call on it, and then, you know, bottom line is they jumped out on us before we could get it off.
It'll end up being a loss of 6 yards. We had an incomplete pass right after that, Coach, at the 50-yard line that was absolutely pass interference.
Yeah, that was a tough one. There's no doubt.
Yeah. Come back after that, pass to Tyrese to the 35-yard line. We end up punting, and they return it to their 37-yard line.
Yeah, we had to go back and punt, give them the ball right before the half. I mean, you've talked about this all year long. You know, we got to finish the half, and that's what we've struggled with all year long.
Well, they get the ball at the 37, Coach. 2 long passes fall incomplete for them. Great coverage on both of those. I watched that play several times, and we did a really nice job after maybe having struggled on that touchdown before that. 3rd and 10, a pass for 11, and then a 10-yard and 7-yard run. 3rd and 8 from the Southside 35-yard line. Rogers drops the running back for a 6-yard loss. Big play for us.
Big play for us. I mean, they're kind of getting the momentum and going, and it was a great play by Sean. Sean's had a great year. Just 10th grader, thinks he's got a big time future.
Well, they're deep in our territory, Coach. Too far down to punt. So it's 4th and 14, and they go for it, and they throw an 18-yard pass over the middle and get a first down.
Those are just crushers. I mean, we got to do a better job. We've talked about it. Stat is third down defense, and we can't give things up like that. And a lot of times that's because you got to get a pass rush. That's the more pressure you can put on them, and we just want to drop and be safe and not give them anything. But we got to do a better job of getting a pass rush from what we're doing.
2 plays after that 18-yard pass, Coach, they throw a pass for a touchdown. Make the 2-point conversion. We're inside minute 30 seconds in the first half. As we talk about, they're up 21-7, and we've just struggled a little bit right there in that last 5 minutes that you always talk about.
Yeah, and I think it's just a big key. I think momentum, how that flows, and you establish yourself. We've started really well, but we have really struggled. Probably the 2 extra glaring things is, like I talked about earlier, is not scoring off turnovers, and then the last 4 or 5 minutes of the half, we have not played those very well all year long, and we'll continue to fight it and continue to. But once we do that, it's kind of like we're talking about. We feel like we're that far away from being an outstanding football team, but those things have got to get corrected.
We're at 21-7, Coach. They kick off. We run a play. Ricardo gets 17 yards, and it's the end of the half. You're down 2 touchdowns, but. You got to feel good about it. They've got 2 turnovers already. We've gotten the ball deep. We haven't, as you just talked about, we haven't taken advantage of those. But we're getting opportunities. You got to go in thinking we can still get this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're very positive about it. But then on the back of your mind, you're thinking, we might have left 28 points out there also. And so, we've had some opportunities, but we're still in it. We've got to get a stop coming out here in the second half. And that's why we go and talk to them, make a couple adjustments on defense, then offensively, trying to get them a read on exactly what they're doing and kind of regroup.
Well, Coach, 21-7 at the half. Folks, we're going to come back in just a moment to talk about that second half. Stay with us. Welcome back, folks. Coach, it's 21-7. We're starting the second half. They won the toss and had deferred to the second half. Another touchback brings it out to 20. And Coach, you got to be pretty pleased. They go 3 and out, punt the ball back to him. We've got the ball 3 plays later after they had a little momentum at the end of the first half. They come back and we got the ball at our 44-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, if it came out and said, we could get a stop here, and we've got good field position. They went 3 and out, and boom, we get the ball at the 44-yard line. Feeling good about it. We got to go score. This is our opportunity. We've blown so many opportunities. We've got to go score the football.
Well, we take over at our 44-yard line. We rush for 4. We rush for 3. We have an incomplete pass. And we go 3 and out. The good news from that is another outstanding punt that rolls dead at Bryant's 6-yard line.
Once again, Adam Puckett had an outstanding game, and he's continued to get better.
Well, we've got them. We got them where we want them. They're at their own 6-yard line. 19-yard rush off the very first play, up the gut. We had 2 or 3 missed tackles there where we got our hands on him and just couldn't get him down. But that kid runs so hard.
Yeah, he is. He's a good back. There's a lot of great backs in our league, and he's one of the top ones. But yeah, we got to do a better job of tackling him. He's a big physical kid.
Well, they rush for 16 yards, Coach, to the 41-yard line. They have an incomplete pass, and then they rush for 30 yards again. Once again, number 23, the Scott kid. We missed a couple of tackles, but he's part of that problem there. I mean, we got to him, but he's a tough kid to get down. They take a keeper to the Mavs 22-yard line, 7-yarder. 2nd down and 3. Penalty by Bryant moves the ball back to the 27-yard line. It's 3rd down and 8. 11-yard rush to the 16-yard line. Holding call backs it up again to the 24-yard line, and then they rush for 9, 11, and then throw a 4-yard or have a 4-yard TD run.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like it was third down and first down forever just on the penalties and stuff, and we got them backed up in good situation. But we got to finish what we started on that series.
Bad news is they went 94 yards. The good news is it took them 13 plays.
Yeah.
So we made them work. It Coach is 28-7 right now. Needs something good to happen.
Yeah.
Needs something good to happen. They kick off. It's a squib kick that was recovered by Southside 34-yard line. We start at the 34. Tay goes for 7, then rushes for 9. We have a illegal procedure call that makes it 3rd and 8. An incomplete pass is 4th down. We punt from our 36-yard line, Coach, and it rolls out of bounds at the Bryant 9-yard line. Again, Puckett, 56-yard punts, got him pinned again.
Yeah, he's been booing them all week, and you felt like going into the game he was going to have a big game.
And he did. We've got them at their 9, got them deep like we had them the last time. They scramble for 9 and 3 with the quarterback. They run for 6. They had a pass for 40 yards, Coach, on 2nd and 4. On just an outstanding catch by their guy that gets the ball down to our 30-yard line where they're sitting 1st and 10. Next 3 plays gain 8 yards, and on 4th and 2, they're going for it. And Martez Gaston once again sacks the back in the backfield on 34, and we take over on downs, Coach.
Yeah, I thought our defense really, situational football, played good besides a couple 3rd downs on 4th and shorts and things like that. And that's you see our defense starting to grow a little bit. There are a lot of young guys over there, but they're getting a little better and better each week, and you see them grow and really stepping up to the challenge in those situations.
We're at our 34-yard lines, Coach. 2 plays and a 10-yard penalty against Bryant. Gets it to our own 45-yard line. Ricardo goes up the gut for 5. Ricardo on a nice option around the left side for 36 yards. It gets it down to the Bryant 14-yard line. Probably one of our best running plays of the night.
Yeah, and Ricardo does a great job. Good job by our offensive line. And, I thought our offensive line played pretty good and gave up some sacks, but overall played pretty good.
We're down their 14-yard line, Coach. 2 plays later, Tay takes it in on the keeper for the touchdown. It's late in the 3rd quarter, and it's Bryant 28, Southside 14.
Yeah, we're telling our guy, we're in this thing. All we do is get another stop and keep driving like we've been driving. That's a 1-score deal right here, or 2 scores, and we get it, the onside kick, or get another stop. I mean, we're right there in the middle of it.
28-14, Coach. We kick off to them once again. It is a touchback. They get a couple of 1st downs from their 20-yard line. It's 3rd and 10 from their 43-yard line. Good coverage by the back secondary, and the quarterback scrambles 16 yards to the map, 41-yard line to get them out of a hole.
Yeah, and we were some man coverage right there. When you do that, you've got to contain the quarterback, and we didn't contain him and had him wrapped up, and he scrambled out, and everybody else got their back to the ball.
Well, they're at our 41-yard line, Coach. They rush for 10, they pass for 16, they pass for 10, and then they do three plays where they don't get anything, and they go for it on 4th and goal from our 9-yard line, Coach, and we only give up a field goal.
Yeah, we got to be proud of our defense. We're bending and not breaking a lot, and played really good on the goal line and in the red zone.
So you're late in the 3rd quarter, Coach. It's 31-14. Either we 3 and out, those guys intercept the ball, or they go 10, 12 plays on us. This was a long drive also. So we've held them for the field goal, Coach. They go 17 plays, go 80 yards, and eat up a whole bunch of the 4th quarter getting that. Gets us to 31-14. After that, both teams have a couple of series. Nothing happens, and the ball game ends with Bryant taking the win 31-14.
Yeah, Bryant's an outstanding team. I mean, it's proud of the way our guys fought, but we had some mental errors and things, and we got to get corrected. But we kind of break it down. Now we're down the stretch run here, and we got to get a chance to win a couple games, get in the playoffs and seeding and things like that. And I know our kids understand it, and they've been through it. And if we feel like we can get in the playoffs and get a decent seed and get a right matchup, we can make some noise.
Well, we come out of the game 3-4, Coach. Statistically, they did such a good job on us running the ball. I thought they really put a lot of pressure on us, and wasn't a great game for us statistically. Ricardo had 139 yards. Their defense was big and athletic. Their outside linebackers covered a lot of ground. They went side to side pretty well. We were kind of like we were talking about earlier off the camera. We were 4 for 12 on third down conversions.
Yeah.
Not our best night.
No, they did, and they did a good job. I mean, they're getting third down. They're bringing the extra safeties and do some things back there in the back end, and they've got, kind of goes back to what we're talking about. We're doing the same thing, but they've got a great pass rush also. That you've got. It's hard. There's number one. There's nobody open because everybody's covered because they've got more guys back there. It's kind of like reverse what people talk about, loading the box and stopping the run. Well, they're loading the secondary and stopping the pass, and they can release those 4 guys up there to put pressure on you. And that's one area, we did the same thing, but we're not getting the pressure on them like they did. But they, it wasn't a great throwing night, obviously, but they had a lot to do with that. And
it was raining, a little wet throughout the game, off and on.
I mean, they had a lot to do with it, and we just got to do a better job in those situations.
Defense caused 3 turnovers. You got to be pleased with that.
Very pleased with the defense. We're still getting up long drives. You can see them getting a little bit better and better each week, but then it goes back offensively. We've got to take advantage of those.
Still, the penalties were a bugaboo for us. We had 8 penalties. Just something we just have to get better than that. We can't put ourselves behind the chains or slow down drives.
We can't do that. And there was a lot of penalties thrown in that game on Brian and us. And a couple of them here or there, but we're getting a turnover and then go out on first down. Don't line up correctly, things like that. I mean, those things can't happen.
Well, you said last week on last week's show that when you play very good teams, the margin for error is small, and you have to play very well yourself.
Yeah, and that's bottom line. We had some opportunities early on in the game and didn't take advantage of it, and then getting penalties here or there, not getting lined up correctly, and coming out of a timeout and things like that. And I mean, you're not going to beat a good team, by doing those things. And when you're a really good team, you can overcome some of those things sometimes. But I think our team is gradually getting better and better. We got this stretch run here the next 3 weeks. It's going to be huge for our season and the way it turns out. And I know our kids are mindsets well, and they're ready to fight, and they're ready to claw and get in the playoffs and get going.
We've played the really hard part of the schedule here in the last 3 weeks or so. So certainly not saying it's getting easier, but like we talked last week, we played a lot of number 1 ranked teams and number 2 ranked teams so far. Coach, how are we doing injuries coming out of the game?
Well, we're pretty healthy. I mean, we lost Jordan Jackson for the year. He was towards ACL against Cabin, thought he could get back, and kind of got some bad news. Hate that for Jordan. He's worked really hard, and being a senior and all, but it's got to be a next man up mentality, and we got some guys with some experience there, but we're pretty healthy, and that's the positive thing. It's kind of like me and the Bryant coach were talking yesterday is about how you go through this league, and if we don't beat each other up so bad, might be limping in the playoffs, and it's such a physical league and a tough league. But unfortunately, right now we are healthy.
Coach, we're 3 and 4 like we spoke about a moment ago. Rest of the season looks like we're at Catholic next week. They're 4 and 3. They have lost their last 3 in a row, but they lost to Bryant, Northside, and North Little Rock. But they've given up 50 points a game the last 3 weeks.
They have given up some points, but they started off well. They got one of the best running backs in Sammy Johnson. I mean, he's in the state. It's one of the top running backs, and he it's always difficult to go down there and play. I mean, Catholic always plays Southside well in Little Rock, and we had a big game on them last year, big stat numbers, and I know that's been talked about. Coach Fogelman and I used to coach together at El Dorado, so we're very familiar with each other, and he does a great job. And it's a tough place to play, but it's exciting for our kids to get to go to War Memorial Stadium and play. It's something every kid should dream of, but we've got it to be a tough task for us.
After that, Coach, we're home. It's our final regular season home game. We play Central. That will be senior night for us. Central not having one of their better years. They're 1 and 6 right now.
They're struggling a little bit. Got a new coach in and everything. And this league's tough. I mean, they're not a bad football team. They beat Heritage earlier in the year. Saw them on film. Hadn't watched much of them, but anything's capable in this conference. And they got good players, and they're kind of established themselves on what they're doing in this program.
And then we finish up Battle of Rogers Avenue with Northside. We're playing at Northside this year. They are 5 and 2 right now, but they have a tough final 3 games. They have North Little Rock here in Fort Smith next Friday night, and then they have to go to an improving Cabot team the week after that.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. I mean, we went through that gauntlet. They're fixing to go through it also. I mean, it's a matter of fact, it's matchups and staying healthy and those things. And, Northside's having a good year, obviously, and that's always a big game, and I think that's a big playoff implication game. Looks like if you talk to the experts down the stretch, and that's always a big game, and our kids will be excited about playing Northside, and Northside's it's got a good football team, and but you throw everything out the window during that game.
Well, if you look at how you think things may transpire in the next 2 or 3 weeks, that game against Northside could be for a home game. The difference in the next week, playing at home or playing on the road.
Could be. You just never know. But you start looking at all that, and there's a lot of football to play, and that part of it, and you never know what's going to happen. And so, our main focus is Catholic, and because we really got to zero in on those guys and get a good plan together and get our kids good practice this week, and go down there. And we're going to be out of school the day of the game. Our kids are out of school, so that they're out of the routine and things like that, and we got to overcome those things.
Well, Coach, good luck next week at Catholic. It's always good to play at War Memorial Stadium. Good for the kids to have the opportunity to do that. We're looking forward to seeing you next week, hopefully, after another big win.
Hope so, Don.
Folks, thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you next week on the Southside Mavericks Coaches Show.